What's up people and welcome to this video guys, and in this video guys we're gonna be talking about yet another new hero in Mobile Legends. But if you have seen a few of the videos which I have done in the last month, I've been talking about this guy called Resty, which basically makes amazing fan arts, and well, we have another one of those in this video. So this time it's gonna be a girl. She's gonna be called Catriona. Honestly, I have no idea how to pronounce this. Cosmos Queen. Okay, here we have the first image as well as, well, her entrance animation. She's gonna be a fighter slash support, okay? Her specialty will be regen and push. Here you can see her durability, offense, ability effects, and difficulty. Looks pretty dope, okay? Looks pretty dope, okay? But if you've seen the other two videos I've made on this guy who makes these fan arts, you know that the two last heroes has been kinda overpowered, okay? I have read this hero's skills and how she'll work. She is actually kinda weak, I would say, okay? I'm sorry, Resty. Either you make a super powerful hero or just a very bad hero. I'm not sure. You guys have to judge it yourself. She has a very strong passive though, but the rest of the skill just feels very, very weak. Anyway, this is how she's gonna be looking in the game. Nothing, you know, out of the ordinary. A girl with a dress, pretty cool, okay? So here we have her passive, okay? And her passive is actually really strong, okay? Even though she's a fighter slash support, she really feels like just a support. But everything else that this guy has made is just really, really cool. I like the artwork. I mean, he put in time to just make the skills and everything. But anyway, here's the passive. It's gonna be called Constant Supporter. Whenever Catriona kills a minion, she gains 1 stack of Constant Supporter. Each stack gives her 1% physical penetration and 2% critical chance reduction and 2% turret defense penetration. Whenever she dies at her last location, she summons minions equal to her stack to fight for her. The stack counter resets every time she respawns. Basically, every time she dies, the minion waves, you know, reset. So you gotta start off from 0. And this is very, very strong in one aspect, but also really bad in another, okay? So basically, as you can see on this images, when she dies, she spawns these minions, okay? Which is really, really cool. If you kill like 50 minions, okay, there is no limit to this. When she dies, she will spawn 50 minions to push, and which makes her just an insane pusher, okay? Because imagine if the enemy team is at the bottom lane and this girl is pushing solo, she can literally just take suicide under a turret, and the minions will just make an insane push if she has managed to stack up a lot of minions, which I think this is a very, very cool passive, okay? But she has to die to make it good, which is really, you know, that's the bad side of it. She has to die to make it good. You know, she gets physical penetration, critical chance reduction, stuff like that, which is, this is bonuses, but the cool thing about the passive is the minions, but it only works if she dies, and that's really the only really strong point of this hero. Then we have the first skill right here, which is gonna be called Long Distance Reinforcement. Catriona sends help using an arrow that regenerates 150 HP to the first ally it hits. A successful hit increases her movement speed by 20% for 2 seconds. So this is basically a skill shot which you have to hit on one of your friends, which, I know, Rusty, I love you, but this is a terrible skill, okay? Because you have to hit your ally to, you know, give the ally health. If you miss it, it's just a waste of time, and you know, it doesn't heal that much for being a skill shot for the first skill. You know, you get, well, okay, the heal isn't really that bad, but it's really hard to hit it. You gain 20% of movement speed. It's not a good skill, okay? Well, yes, it's a first skill, it's not supposed to be really, really strong, but it just feels too hard, you know? Try to support one of your allies, you have to try to, you know, skill shot them. What I would recommend for this skill is maybe, at least you can use it at enemies as well, you know? Hitting the enemies will make 200 damage or something like that, I don't know. Which would balance it out, because now you can only use it allies, and if you're running solo, this will never work because maybe you don't have an ally. The first skill is just a waste as long as you're solo, so at least make it deal some kind of a damage to your enemies or buff Catriona somehow, I don't really know. Then we have the second skill right here, which is gonna be called Iceland Restoration. Catriona sacrifices 50% of her max HP and uses the power of Cosmos to restore 200 HP of specified allied turret, thus giving the turret 100 points of temporary damage absorption for 2 seconds. Casting this skill successfully enhances her next basic attack, dealing 100% of her total physical attack as true damage and slowing the target by 60% for 1.5 seconds. So first of all, she has to sacrifice her own HP to basically improve the turret a bit, which, I mean, yes, it can be pretty good when you're defending, but she is a pusher slash a support. I don't really know, and you're not always just trying to defend, you know, turrets, so this skill is kind of useless when you're not next to a turret. Yeah, you know, it's only good for turrets, okay? And if you're pushing the enemies, you basically don't even have a second skill, because this skill doesn't do anything. Because you have to do it to a turret, basically, from what I can read. It's a cool idea, it just doesn't really work, I think, okay? But yes, she do get true damage when attacking an enemy and stuff like that, which is pretty cool and stuff like that, but, nah, pass. Sorry, Rusty. Here you can see how it would look. You see, she sacrifices some of her HP, giving HP to this turret right here. Cool animation though. Then we have the ultimate right here, which is gonna be called Advocate of the Tribe. Catriona summons a cosmic circle that transforms her into a tribal warrior whenever she comes in contact with the circle. But whenever she moves out of the circle, she will turn into her goddess state. The circle lasts for 15 seconds. In her tribal state, she receives 50% of her total physical attack as physical defense and 50% of her total magic power as magical defense, and her basic attack deals 80% of her total physical attack plus 85% of her total magic power as physical damage, increasing her lifesteal by 20%. Yes! Jesus! I can't keep up with this. 50% of her physical attack, 50% of her magic power. Does she also has magic power? What are you supposed to build on her? Physical attack or magic power? It's just very confusing, Rusty. I really feel like you rushed this a bit too much. This ultimate as well isn't really that good because you have to be in the circle. Imagine you're putting out the circle, all the enemies are pushing you, you have to back up, and then you just wasted your ultimate. I'm really sorry, Rusty, you made some cool artwork. Really cool, okay? The other two heroes which you have made are just amazing, but I can't give you the star for this one, okay? I'm sorry. It's a cool artwork and everything like that. Guys, comment down below what you think about this hero. It's still a cool concept, but she has to be buffed and some of the skills has to be improved for Mobile Legends to make this hero. But yeah, here she also has like a cousin buff, so basically every time she plays with Lapu here, she will gain a buff. Increases absorption of HP regen effect by 10% when battling with Lapu. So I guess they have to be in the enemy team when battling with. No, okay, when they're in the same team, I guess. And here you have her lore. If you want to go and read that, I'm not going to go read that for you. So you have to read that yourself. Just pause here if you want to go ahead and read that. And here you